Hello, my name's Daniel Castle, senior at Mid-America Christian University. This week's assignment, we're asked to do a video. First question is, does human beings get a chance to hear from God? And I gotta say yes. The reason I say yes is that, well, Christ, first of all, he did tell us that he's with us always. And, well, even though he goes away, he's still going to be here. He spoke about that towards the end of Matthew, is chapter 28, around verse 20. Um, I'd like to, also mention that in chapter 3 of this week's assignment, there's something that Dallas Willard said. He said this in 2012. He talked about the same thing, and he said his actual words was, he, speaking of God, speaks with us individually as it is appropriate. So I agree with that statement. I would say yes. Now, another question that was posed is, what might keep us from hearing from God? Well, our busy lifestyle, I believe, is the main culprit. We have too much going on and too many distractions. I think that's a big reason why we wouldn't hear from God. And, well, how would we know if what we're hearing is not from us and it actually is from God? I think a lot of that has to deal with God's word, knowing God's word and understanding it, and seeing that what we are hearing lines up with God's word, and there's no contradictions to God's word. So I think that would be a good litmus test, is God's word. And finally, an instance, there was a time in my life where I was making a life-changing, life-altering decision, and I was seeking God to help me with this decision. And it wasn't that I heard Him necessarily; it was that I felt the words. It seemed audible. It did, but it was a feeling of the words unlike anything I've ever felt before. Um, and it was permission to move forward, that it was going to be okay. And I'll never forget that. To this day, I remember the exact place, the exact feeling, the exact everything about that moment, because it was a conversation with God and He spoke to me. So yeah, I believe it. I believe it happens. I believe it does. I believe it continues to. So my conclusion to this is that if we're not hearing from God, that we need to maybe reevaluate our lifestyle and possibly make sure that what we're hearing it lines up with God's word, and get to those quiet times. That makes the difference for me, anyhow. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.